All right. What's up, Blueprint family? How are y'all doing today or tonight? Thank you all for coming out. We do have a great question for tonight, and
topic.
Yep, great question and topic. So tonight's topic is the dating game for older adults. So this is more so for, in particular, women, 35 and older, but also, would you say so? Is mainly for women?
Well, it could be men too. I think this advice would be really overall. The advice that we give will be helpful to, I think, all people dating in general, but in particular, older men could probably benefit from this information very much as well too.
Right.
Because a lot of it is really all about bettering yourself, no matter your age, just and bettering your overall chances of, meeting a spouse. And yeah.
Well, I got to dig into it because what I was
Yeah.
trying to ask is that there's a double standard as far as dating older.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
with that information, is this information mostly for women or is it for men?
Yeah. I would think it is certainly much harder for older women in the terms of the dating field.
Right.
As shown in this question, which, of course, in general, I think women, with us being in the sense of having not too much control over how, and getting engaged and married and all that stuff. I mean, I guess some modern women are much more, excited to take that role of like proposing and stuff like that. I don't know that trend, but I don't know. That's usually the man is supposed to
the
do
success
that.
rate, as we all say, is that men control relationship.
Yeah.
We're the ones who engage.
Right.
Traditionally, and a lot of times if women are proposing to men, the men necessarily do not always accept proposals. Same vice versa. But it's less likely that a woman will propose to a man. But that's it, straight off topic.
Yes.
We're talking mainly to women. And the reason why I had asked my wife that, because of the double standard dealing with dating, is that women normally don't have a high success rate as they age and they are looking for a mate.
Yeah.
Men normally do, though, to be honest with you, and I've stated this multiple times in our videos, is that men have a more higher success rate as we age and are finding wives or someone to have children with. And we are able to do that because we are providers and protectors. So, and with women have a lot of competition out there as they age. As they get older and older, they have more and more competition. So what does that say? Is that it's better for women and easier for women to find a husband when they're younger, early 20s. And we're going to dive into this and see what it looks like for women as they get older and are trying to find a husband.
Yep. So let's dig into the question that we received from an Instagram viewer. So also if you would like to see the question, we always transfer our questions onto Word so that we could share it with everybody as we dissect it together.
Right.
But Instagram viewers, if you would like to see it, you're more than welcome to come over to YouTube. But yep.
And also please like, share, and subscribe our videos.
Yeah. Okay, so the subject was dating suggestions for older adults. Pull this up. Okay. Hello, I'm completely supportive of your mission to strengthen our community with arranged marriages. Even though I'm American, I've been an advocate of this idea for a long time, and even more so after my own non-arranged marriage failed. Have you created any content or resources geared toward older people, such as myself, 55 and divorced? Your video seems to imply that there isn't much hope for us since older men primarily seek younger women for marriage. This is true, and it is an issue. But do you have any suggestions, guidance, or resources for us? Thank you. God bless you, and may He expand your territory and enhance your success in your business, holy matrimony, and family. Well, thank you, and God bless you too. First off, that's very sweet. Thank you. Yeah. But wow, yeah. As always, we say most of our shows are based off of questions that we receive, either directly through our email or Instagram, like this one, or even sometimes Facebook. And, so it's usually based off of people asking their genuine, question, just like this one. So, hey, it's true.
Yes.
Older people are needing advice and dating too. And the scene is a little bit different for them,
It's a lot of bit different.
Yeah, that's true.
No, keep
A
it
lot
100.
of it. Yeah, I mean, it is because you're older, and then not only that, you're at a different stage in your life. So not only should be focused on retirement more than ever, and like getting yourself secure in that stage in life, but also if you're alone, you really want to secure that side of you too, because you want to have somebody to finish life with and really connect and enjoy the rest of life with. Like, that's the beautiful part of companionship. So yeah, I totally get the added stress that can come onto dating while older, although we're not older ourselves. But I love to just think about and sit back and dissect just pretty much perspective on I guess, what would you call the challenging parts of dating while older, and then the rewarding aspects too. So, of course, the lack of options, right? The dating pool of older adults is usually smaller than those for younger adults.
Hold on, you don't want to dissect the letter?
Oh, yeah. Well, oh, yeah.
Let's dissect that letter.
Okay. Back on back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's some things that I do want to point out about that letter.
Okay.
And it wouldn't do us justice to continue. Yeah. Because we always dissect everyone's letter. So let's treat this all the same.
Okay.
So let's back up. Go in the beginning.
Very beginning. Okay.
Yep. Thank you. She's saying she's very supportive. Okay, you can go.
Yeah.
Forward. And then our previous video was about arranged marriages. So if you want to check that out, arranged marriages have the lowest divorce rates throughout the world. Yep. Including the United States.
Yeah, 6%.
So for those people who are not married, you may want to look into having an arranged marriage. Yeah. To be honest with you, if you're wanting to get married and what you're doing is not working for you, I would advise it. And then so she goes on and she talks about she's asking about what about people who are 55 and divorced. That's very common. Right. There are a lot of women who are 55 years old and divorced who are looking for husbands. Right. Or vice versa. There are men who are looking for wives in that range as well. And then she says, your video seems to imply that there isn't much hope for us since older men primarily seeks younger women for marriage. It is harder. I'm not saying that there's not much hope, but you only get what you give out of this situation. Yeah. And also too, not only is it your determination and your effort in finding a man, it's also too, you have to consider your appearance. Right. You have to consider what you look like, your health, and yeah, those things. Yeah, which we'll dig into. Yeah. You have to dig in. You have to look, consider your weight. Yeah, and how attractive you are, and that will determine your success rate on finding a man in an older age. Yeah, because like I said before, you are competing with 20-year-old girls out there. Men who are in their 50s are marrying girls in their mid 20s and 30s. Yeah. So, and then also those are, and then those are your peers. So you may be looking for someone who's within, that age range. I'm not sure what age range you're looking for, but you got to understand that, yes, those men are also dating down. I know men who marry younger, a lot younger, and it works for them, to be honest with you, as opposed to marrying someone their age. Yeah. And that's just the situation of it. So, yeah. And it was that it with the letter?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, that's how I kind of... For the most part, because she was just looking for the guidance. Because, yeah, like you said,
this is true, and then is an issue. It is, to me, I don't think it's an issue. What you're looking for is the success for marriage. Now, it may be an issue for you, because it may be harder for you, and you have to learn to adjust and pivot, and not to be so picky.
Well, yeah, and date a little different, which we'll get into other ways that you can specifically better your chances of meeting somebody that will align with what you're looking for in a relationship too.
Right, most definitely. And then yep, so that's pretty much it. So we're going to provide the guidance that you were hoping to look for, and
Yeah.
we're going to be very honest about it and give you our perception
Yeah, yeah.
here.
Yeah. And I mean, because it's really, although, you're older, it is a lot different, but a lot of the things, I guess, it just is going to require more support. And you got to have to, like you said, pivot and do things a little different because you're older. You have to, in a way, take on other ways that you can better accomplish your dating goals and have, increase your chances of success because you can't really do it alone at that point because you have you have your whole life of kind of how you picked and choose your relationships and it didn't work out. So it's like at that point, you really have to switch it up and do something different, right? So it's going to require you stepping out of the zone, things that you normally do, things that you wouldn't normally do. But yeah. So if we want to get into first, so the challenges and rewards, like we were talking about before, I just kind of like you were saying, the dating pool is a little smaller because even their peers are kind of dating, you know, they have more dating options. So it's like their dating pool is a bit smaller unless you, in a way, expand your perspective on who you're dating, right? And I guess
Right.
your overall
Let,
goals of
can't be picky.
right. Yeah. And then even still, I would even suggest thinking in the sense of future goals of where you at 55, for example, this woman is 55 right now. So I would think in the terms of what do I want my life to look like at 65 or kind of like envision that, right? Like what do I need like for retirement?
Right.
What
Have realistic goals
mm-hmm.
about what that's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
So in 10 more years, you're supposed to be retired.
Yeah. And your husband or spouse
Right.
should be too.
Now, but here's the thing though, is that having your spouse, had you been married and continued your marriage,
Right.
I'm guessing that you were married in, I don't know, 30s, 20s.
Yeah.
Your retirement outcome would be a lot better.
Yeah.
Because you would both have incomes. If you were working too, your retirement incomes, you all could combine those and have a much better chance at retirement.
Yeah.
And that's just, the realization of the situation.
Yeah. And I would honestly, truth be told, think that the dating pool for her in particular needs to already be somebody that's well taken care of themselves in the sense of they're retired and already got all that figured out, and she can offer herself as a way to help, like I will take care. And now granted, this man may need to be like 70 where she will have to come in and take care of him. Well, be that
years,
support.
No less than 10 years older.
Yeah.
That we say that because that will be your biggest chance of success.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because it is harder for older women to find husbands.
Yeah.
And usually older men date down, right? They date younger in age.
Or at least in particular, her age group, especially 55, 60, like I see those two, they'll go younger.
Those men dating younger all the time.
Yeah.
All the time now.
But a 7-year-old man, sometimes the chances, granted the fact, what's the guy that just 80 years old just had the baby with
Al Pacino.
Like that is the extreme. Yeah, you got your outliers like that.
I think that's becoming more common now in America. Men are having children with younger women. It just,
that to me is though the extreme. 86 though, like great.
He's 81.
81. That's still like great. I don't know. But
but he's wealthy though.
Right.
He's old and wealthy.
Outlier. Yeah. Right. That is an extreme outlier for sure. But as a 55-year-old woman, that should also be like your range. Not like 80 maybe, but like maybe like 70.
Make it easier.
75.
Your range is 10 years or older. Let's say that.
65, yeah, and up. Yeah.
Or maybe 62 and up.
Yeah.
I will give you that.
If it's 62 and up, then you need to really be focused on how y'all gonna retire together. And what's that gonna look like?
What it look like him retiring at 65 and her retiring at 65.
Well, combining finances and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
it depends on where she works at, like 401k.
Yeah, you retire when you're 65 in the United States. That's why.
Yeah, you don't have to. You can still work part-time or
it depends
if you get Social Security or something like that.
It depends on your job. If you certain jobs will allow you to retire 30 years with the agency or company or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you can get your retirement benefits. But in the United States overall, you retire at 65. Used to be 62, but now it's 65. So and we say that about retirement because in the United States now, because of inflation, a lot of times when you retire, you're only going to have around $350,000 if you make it out good.
Yeah.
That means you've been saving since you were 18 or whatever the case may be. And that's still not enough for retirement. So if you have two people together, 350 plus 350, that's $700,000. So you're almost at $1 million.
Yeah, because people are living to like 90 years
95.
old.
95 on average.
Yeah,
Now,
that's old.
so
Older.
you have to make, you still have to find a way to make 70 to 90% of the monies that you were making while you were working.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time, and that involves a 401k retirement plan, pension, Roth account, savings account, and also a part-time job.
Possibly.
So if you don't want to work a part-time job in your retirement, then maybe your husband does. And so your husband can still work while he's retired, and then you can do your retirement thing and live out your retirement as his wife. But if not, what are you going to do to cover that gap, that retirement gap? I'm learning about this retirement gap thing. You got to do something, and that's called a part-time job. So say you all have $700,000. That's not a, Rob, what are you saying? That's not enough? No, it's not. The goal is that you need to have anywhere for one person is $1.5 million to $1.5 million per person in order to make it from the age 65 to 95 years of age. Yeah. So what does that mean? That the both of you in a marriage should have somewhere between $2.5 to $3 million to retire comfortably. Yeah. That means you don't have to downsize your house. You don't have to sell your cars and try to figure out some way to have a cheaper mortgage or what have you. That means you don't have to stop going on trips, vacations and things like that, or what have you. Yeah. But if you're retiring with just $700,000 or even less, if you retire alone with $350,000, $250,000, that is not going to carry you through to your retirement. So that means what? You're going to be working until you're 95 or until you're not able to work anymore. Who wants to do that? And that's not, to me, that's not retirement. Right. That's just the reality of the situation that shocks people here in America.
Yeah, especially with inflation.
Yeah, because this inflation is out of control. What last year, families on average spent $14,000 more than last year. That's just in 1 year. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. So imagine what it would look like 35 years from now, 40 years from now. Inflation has never gone down. Right. As long as I've been alive, inflation has always been increased. I remember watching The Price is Right. I know y'all, the older people. We're talking to the older folks. Yeah. Price is Right in the 80s. You could buy a car for how much? Anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000. A brand new Chevy. I don't know, a Ford Fiesta or whatever, one of those small cars or whatever, what have you. That's crazy. You could buy a car for that much money back then. Granted, the fact today cars have gotten better, a lot of technology in it or whatever. But, to the equivalent of that today, that $3,000 car is worth $23,000 today. Crazy. Inflation is crazy, y'all. And it's something that we need to consider when we date and have relationships. Mm-hmm. Make sure that you all get it right the first time so that you don't have to be trying to figure this thing out and scrambling. Yeah. Before retirement. You don't want to be in a situation where you're trying to figure out retirement and you only got 10 years to go. Right. You really want to set yourself up and be in a good place. I don't know what your situation was in the past or what have you, but you have to do things that will increase your probabilities of survival. Yeah. And that means getting married and then focusing on investing and having a better financial outcome. Yeah. Because it's very important. You don't want to rely on your children for retirement. That's a no-no. Although you raised your children, the whole thing is to let them grow up and be adults and raise their own families. Mm-hmm. so that they can do their own thing, manage their own household, and you're a support. You're supposed to be a support system for them, even though you've raised them to watch their grandkids. Not for them to take you in their own home as well, and for them to watch you. Yeah. It's not it doesn't work that way. That's not
Right.
how things have been designed.
Well, yeah, because you don't give your children then a better opportunity to then, do more with their life at that time, because it costs resources to take care of an aging adult. And especially those who had children older, and then, your children are maybe younger or whatever, it's really kind of hard on them. So you really got to take that stuff in consideration. Truly, truly.
Right. So I mean, but a lot of people don't do this, but
yeah, that's why we started this. Like, it's good to have this dialogue and this conversation.
Right, because nobody else is really talking about
Right, on how to have these healthy, functioning relationships that really last for a long time. And it really starts with getting it right the first time, early, having that education on how to choose the right spouse, what that looks like, how to get into the roles, and then actually build and sustain a healthy relationship for a long time. That's just super important. So, yeah, but that gets us into the next one. Another, thing that can make older people a little hesitant when dating is ageism. That whole idea of not being as attractive as the younger people that you're competing against, because that is the reality. But the things that we're going to get into will also is really geared into helping you refocus these aspects that can be considered complications, like the difficulties, challenges of dating, but things that you can overcome it by doing things that are really going to help better yourself. Yep. You kind of hit on this a little bit earlier, but like health issues, that's also certainly one thing to really think about and consider. That's why we kind of hit on like the retirement, because retirement also doesn't just include, the aspect of regularly if you can take care of yourself, but also taking consideration maybe you won't be able to take care of yourself. And having a spouse is certainly a great reason to, have somebody nearby that you can, lean on them and they can lean on you during that time. So,
right. I want to go back to that ageism thing, because that verbatim words that we have is noted that some people may be hesitant to date older adults because they believe that they are not as attractive or desirable as younger people, are. Just to put that in perspective, that's shock value for those older people out there who are trying to go back dating, is that you all are competing against younger people. And then also health, and particularly women. You all are they competing against younger women, so you all gotta be just as fit as these younger women are.
Yeah.
And then also, like my wife said, health issues. Older adults may have health issues that can make dating more difficult.
Yeah.
So that's just something also too to consider.
Yeah.
Just being realistic. We're not trying to sugarcoat anything. We just want you all to understand what you all are facing. So.
Yeah, and that's important, because once you realize what you're up against, then you are hopefully in a better position to want to do something about it. Because that's what is really important. We're not going to tell you that it's easy and then you be like, oh, well, if it's easy, I ain't got to do nothing. No, it's really not. It's a lot harder. So we really want people to take in consideration, even the younger people that may come across this video. Hey, like, this is the reality of when you're dating older. And this is something to consider.
Or young people, if you all out there, and you all bail out on your marriage, you left a good man because he didn't look good enough, or he didn't drive the car you wanted him to drive,
or sex. Some women walk out because of that. That's silly as that is. I'm just saying, ridiculous. Right. Irreconcilable differences.
Yeah, for those people who walked out on their relationships, irreconcilable differences, to say, you know what, I'm gonna put my relationship on hold until I'm, older.
And get back in the dating market. You got challenges.
You have a lot of hurdles to jump over.
Yeah, and that's the reality of it. So really consider before you go leaving your relationship, is it easier to work on the relationship or get out here in the dating market when I've gotten older, when I may not be in the same shape as I used to be? I may have had all these, I may have worse I may be taking more medications that affect my energy level or mood.
And then also for women, I can no longer have children.
Yeah. All those things are really important to consider. Like we were saying, just so that you are then open to the things you need to do to really set yourself up for success in order to date really successfully as an older adult.
Yep. But despite these challenges, there are also rewards to dating older adults. And dating can provide companionship and social interactions.
Yes.
And then also too, especially important for people who've lost spouses and or friends and family.
Yeah, which is
So
more common if you are older, like that, having that experience. So if you have lost somebody, it's of course
important.
so important to have that companionship. It makes it so much easier to move through life. Yeah,
Yep.
certainly. Yep.
Yep. So let's go ahead.
Oh. You should now also have more life experience, right? So you're talking about you have gained your wisdom of things, of understanding all the things you've gone through. Hopefully, you have taken this and learned a lot of healthy skills that you can use as a valuable asset in a relationship. This is a great thing for if you are an older person to be able to offer to a relationship, especially if it's somebody, more mature than you, maybe, it helps you to be able to really connect. I remember when we did that age gap thing with like the relationships, one of them, if you had like a 10-year age gap or something, that was harder to relate to your spouse per se. This kind of, it makes it a little easier if you are older and you are, you have taken the time, which we'll go through later, how you can really make sure that you're mentally and physically and spiritually prepared to get back out here in the dating field, but also how you can take this and use those skills as an asset that can help you relate to a more mature individual. So you don't have that, I guess, discord or disconnect because you understand, you have more wisdom too.
Right.
Yep.
And then also you should know what you want and don't want in a spouse.
Right. By this
time you should
certainly
know.
Right.
Although things change as
Mhm.
far as how you used to date in your 20s or 30s, if you're in your 40s or 50s in the later part of your life, your expectations may change. If they should not be so long as a list.
Right.
You can't be that picky.
You need the essentials.
Yeah.
Is he gonna love me? Take care of
Someone
me?
who loves you, still can provide
Right.
in that aspect, and
Will be
it's
their sickness and
health,
health.
right? Because even if they're older, they may not be able to protect you
Right.
like a younger person would.
But is he willing to try?
Right. Right.
Are you willing to take care of him?
Right.
And do those things for him? Yeah, make sure you're able to do that. Yeah. And certainly, like you said, you should be able to better communicate your needs and your desires. Hopefully, again, we're going to go through this ways that you can do these things if you haven't taken the time. But if you're an older adult, I hope you have taken the time to learn healthier ways of communicating, especially if you've gone through any type of abuse, whether that's even childhood too. Hey, like, let's be honest, especially Black people in America. I always say that, like, some within our culture, it seems to be a lot of rooted, some type of neglect, abuse, or something.
Well, that's
going
because
on,
we was
so.
raised by single parents.
Yeah. So hey, I mean, I think it's super important for everybody to always take the time to really be able to strengthen your communication skills, because sometimes we adopt unhealthy communications ways and we don't even know it. So, yep. But also to think about what stage in life, we kind of hit on this earlier about retirement, but just really think about what stage in life you're at right now, and also to where you're going to be, and envision your life at that point, and what your spouse, how that spouse for you can be supportive at that time. You should really be able to write this out or verbalize it, or really have this in your mind of what you need, because that's
Right.
super important.
But also too, how you are able to provide provide your services for your spouse as well.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a two-way street. You have is give and take.
Yes.
So you have to also be there for your husband as well, or either man for your wife as well in their later ages. So
Right. Yeah.
that is also something to consider.
Yeah, and really what that looks like in that terms of, if you are going to date an older man, are you going to really have in your mind that you may need to take care of him? Like, we have to let go of that independent mind state, especially as an older person, because at that point it kind of becomes codependent, your relationship, especially if one person's health is failing or whatever, they're not as up to par as they used to, up to spry as they used to be. All of that really matters. So it's super important that you know your role and what you're going to take on as dating in an older age. Your spouse may be older than you. Hey, think about, you willing to wipe this person's butt? You willing to do these things? Like, don't leave and get used to it because you already had one divorce. Often people can think that's why I guess divorce rates are higher after you have one divorce, because you think it's okay to do it again
to
and
keep
again
doing
and
it.
again and again. Yeah, it's not. It's really super important that you take those vows very serious. So really take in consideration this person that you're going to be dating, and if you're really willing to stick it out to death do you part at that point.
Right.
That's what you
What's the
want.
point of getting married?
Right, because that's what you want. That's what you really want. So come completely to terms with that. Yeah.
Right. And then also too, you explaining that in your third marriage.
Yeah.
Or third, in that situation where you want to get married a third time, that person may not even marry you.
Right.
Because they know that you are a flight risk. Pretty much
Yeah.
you're trying to leave relationship. So don't
And
do
men
that.
too, like older men too. I think about that and really consider if you are going to go date these younger women, really be consider that they may be a flight risk. Are they, taking consideration who if they're really there for you and all this other things. Making sure that the person who you are dating is there for you and you're genuinely there for them too, because that will really foster a healthy relationship regardless of your age. And that's really what it's important about. You really want to help create a solid relationship at this volatile stage in life, right? Where it's really important. That's especially when you get older, it's really important to have that connection. And I think older adults too, it kind of goes into our next great thing about dating, and then an older adult in particular, is that they should have a greater appreciation for life and for people. This is a super attractive mindset to have. If you are appreciative for life because you lived a long life, yeah, it's super positive, and people love that. They're attracted to that.
Good people love that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. You should also have a better understanding of your strengths and your weaknesses. This can really help you, make you more confident, in your abilities to go out here and look for a spouse who also aligns with, what you are looking for too.
All right. So we have a few suggestions, dating suggestions for older people, also as well. So let's dive into those. So older men and women, when dating, need a supportive team around them to assist them while they are single and dating. So you also need people to let you know the risks of what they may see in the person that you're bringing around to see and make sure that they are about you. Because there are some things you're older, so maybe some things that you're not as sharp on that other family members can pick up, especially for the men out there who are dating younger women. You may not care, older men, that this girl may be just taking advantage of you and taking all of your money because you can't take it with you when you go, right? But those, to be honest with you, you may need that feedback if you're really serious about marrying younger.
Yeah, and somebody who's really going to be there for you, because you don't want that to happen where you want, again, this is super important to consider life at that point. And somebody, if your life is in their hands, and if you don't want to leave your life to them, don't marry them. If you can't trust them to do the right thing.
I mean, I'll throw this out there too. Though, for those exceptional women out there who are older and they're dating younger men.
Yeah.
You may not care, that your family are telling you, hey, I saw him, with some other girl.
Yeah.
That information you need to know, though. You need to know that information about if you're dating people who are red flags.
Yeah.
A lot of times you're jaded by just being in the company of these people. It takes a third party to tell you, hey, this person got red flag all over them. Let me tell you why. And then be open-minded about those opinions of those family members or friends.
Right.
They're not just trying to, say these things to make you upset.
Yeah.
They may be out there looking out for you. So you need to consider these things, and these things that you may need to talk about with your younger boyfriend or girlfriend as well.
Yep.
And to see if they will provide the input or the information on whether that stuff is real or not.
Right.
And you should also, deduct from that information whether it is worth it being in a marriage or relationship with this person.
Yes.
So
vetting, super
important. It is always important to have someone vet your spouses.
Yeah. And because of that, we highly recommend talking to a therapist. A therapist is extremely helpful while you are single and dating for a number of ways. In particular, a therapist can really help you process emotions and help you heal from those past hurts that you were talking about that can really kind of blind you as you go into a new dating relationship and experience. So you really want to make sure you heal those things, and a therapist can really help you to explore those questions that you need to get clear on for what you're looking for in a spouse, as well as the things you may need to work on for yourself.
Mhm.
And a therapist is also really cool to even bring those, hey, I met this person, this was our interaction with, and how do you think this comes off? It gives you somebody, a sounding board, really, somebody that you can talk to if you don't have that family that, or friends that, would be otherwise helpful, like you were talking about. This is where therapists can come in. So don't just think of a therapist as somebody that, you just go through because you got some issues or something like that. In particular, I think of the older community, especially within our African American culture, that stigma around, oh, if I go to therapy, it's because I'm crazy. Something is wrong. It's really big, though, more so in that generation than ours, per se. It's getting more and more accepted and encouraged to go to therapy. And it really should be, because it really helps you to really process and think and get clear on the things that you need to get clear on so that you can go forth in this dating world clear in mind and with purpose in mind and knowing what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, we've been in this information age since the 2000s.
Yeah.
What is it? You can get a therapist online now.
Yes.
So, I mean, you don't even have to leave the comfort of your own home.
Right. Yeah.
You can just go hit a button on the computer and find a therapist. And then also to vet your therapist, like we always say as a disclaimer, make sure that they are themselves a married person.
Yep.
So that they can provide insight about marriage.
Yes,
as
certainly. Well. And even look for therapists who specialize in relationships in particular. Mm-hmm. So if you are a single and you know that you want to get into a relationship, certainly look for therapists who would help you process, getting into relationships and certain like that. Some people are great with that and specialize in that. That would be great. And of course, let them be married, because as we always say, if you want to get the results that you're really looking for, go with somebody who is already in alignment and still in alignment with what it takes to have that goal achieved. So if you want to be married and successfully married, go get advice from a successfully married person, because they know what it takes and are actually putting it into action and not just speculating, because, it's kind of what it is. If you don't actually put it into action, by putting it into action, you're creating that wisdom. And that's really what you want to garner from a relationship like that, is that wisdom, so that you can then not make those same mistakes or actively apply those things into your life so that you can also get those same results. Yeah. So also too, a therapist can help you build self-esteem. It can really help you get feel confident about yourself, feel good about who you are, and of course, cope with rejection. So as you are in this dating scene, you are more than likely going to get rejected a few or more than a few times. Who knows? Like, that's just the reality of the situation. And it's, again, always nice to have somebody to talk to that's going to help you process through this so that you don't become inner hurt, wounded from this experience, but also jaded and, mean or, hateful or spiteful or, because of that, because it's real. That's really a result of rejection. So therapist is really good help for that.
Yep. Next. All right. So if you are an older person who is looking for love, so an image consultant or a fitness trainer can be a valuable asset as well.
Yeah.
So we say these things because you want to increase your probability of finding a suitable mate.
Right.
And then, as I said before, is that you're competing against a lot of younger people.
Yeah.
Especially women. You all are competing against a lot of younger women out there. So you want to make sure that you look your best.
Feel your best.
Yep. Because this, finding someone may be a marathon and not a race, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, and because of that, it may feel like a marathon and a race. So you want to make sure that you are in your best health. Not to, be joking, but you want to be in your best health in those years. in those older years, trying to find someone.
Yeah, and men in general, all around, doesn't matter the age, they love beautiful feminine women. So just naturally, an image consultant just off rip will help you create a look for yourself that helps you feel confident and attractive for where you're at now in this stage of your life. And as you age, your style is going to change, right? You're not going to dress the same like you once did when you were in your 20s or
Right.
whatever. And even if you gained a few weight, some weight or whatever, just looking for that overall style that's going to help give you that confidence so that when you go out into the dating scene, no matter your age, you can attack that whole ideology of ageism and say, hey, no, I know I look good. I have somebody that's helping me look good. I feel good. I have a personal trainer that's helping me eat right? Because personal trainers will really help you gain that discipline that it's really going to take when it comes to the mindset of not only taking care of yourself, but being in a relationship, taking care of your spouse, especially as you age. Your health becomes more and more and more important as you age. So it's never going to be a bad thing to get more advice on nutrition, more advice on how you can eat well. Fitness trainers can even help you gain your strength, your balance, your flexibility, all things that you're gonna need as you old, because you still want to engage in sexual acts with your partner as well too. That's I've always heard that. That doesn't mean that, sex is, you're just done because you're older, So you definitely want to be able to keep those things up as well. So a fitness trainer or image consultant is certainly one great asset, that a really valuable asset that you can utilize to really give you a little leverage over your competition, because you will need it. You're older, so you got to pull out all stops. Your dating game got to be like 2.0. You can't think that you're just going to do the same thing like you did when you were 20 and get a man, because you're not. So you're going to really have to garner in a supportive team around you who's going to really help you look and feel your best. Certainly.
Yeah. So when you feel your best, you're more likely to be noticed. So what we're doing is, like I said before, you're increasing your probability of being noticed.
Yeah.
And then also too, my wife already said, working with a trainer, those things, trainer, image consultant, they will enhance your appearance, making you memorable and noticeable.
Yeah.
Especially when you're on dates and things like that. So these are just some words of wisdom to the wise, I would say,
right,
that you all can take advantage of as a resource in order to find a mate, because these things will help.
Yep. Yeah.
So now be sure to find a consultant who has experience working with older adults, of course.
Yeah.
So, and also an image consultant and a trainer as well.
Yeah.
That are both experienced in helping older adults.
Yeah, maybe with health issues, or fitness trainer wise. I always think about that. Like if you got a bad back or knees or something.
Right. Yep. So some specialize in working with young people, while others specialize in working with older adults, like we were saying.
Yeah.
So that's very important, because they will have that experience and are able to better guide you and help you.
Right.
In what situation you may be having. So
yeah. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but even to older, especially fitness trainers as well, if working with them, they can actually recommend exercises for older adults, of course, and eating things that can help you, nutrition wise, eating within your health. So it's talking about getting your health better if you're on medication and stuff like that. You want to look to actively improve these things. If you notice you have these health issues and stuff, you want to get them better, not only for yourself, but so you can be around for your spouse too, right? You want to actually be able to enjoy your spouse for a long, long time.
Yep. And then also to be clear about your goals. Be honest, be clear about your goals. If you're saying that I'm 60 pounds overweight and I need to lose this weight.
Yeah.
I'm 5'4" and I weigh 200 pounds or 180, and I need to get down to 120.
Yeah.
From 200. Be clear about that, because your trainer will know, okay, well, we need to attack this here. First is your diet, and then next is your exercise regimen. So that they will have a clear understanding of what targets to hit.
Yeah, and what you're really trying to do.
Right, and be realistic about you, yourself, and be honest about you and yourself.
Yeah.
To the trainer.
Yep. And even your image consultant as well. So if you want to, if you feel insecure about your look and you're trying to gain a better look, whether it's about your hair or
the
you
way
know,
you
the way you
dress.
dress, yep, anything like that, be honest about that with them as well too, because they're really here to help you. So if you want to gain more confidence and feel better and have more clothes that, you know, really make you stand out for the way you look at that moment, then certainly be honest about that, because it'll really help.
Right. So next, be prepared to invest some time and money.
Yeah.
Yes, these things are not cheap.
No.
This stuff is expensive. So working with a trainer or personal consultant can be a time-consuming thing and expensive process. So be prepared to invest some time and money to get the most out of your experience.
Yeah.
And then also to be disciplined, because what you don't want to do is spend this time and money and then you're not even using or listening to your trainer and consultant.
Right.
So you're just blowing money and wasting your time.
Right.
And it's all going out the window. So have that discipline to say that, hey, you know, I'm going to stop eating at McDonald's for lunch and I'm going to start working out and drink water. So do those things.
Yeah. And like you said, stick to it. Truly, genuinely stick to it, because you want to
get the best outcome.
Yeah. And you're going to have to, nothing is pretty cheap, especially when you're older. And like we said, you're trying to increase your odds at this point. So it's not going to be the easy thing like you did when you were in your 20s. You are going to have to invest in some people that are going to help you along the way for the best outcomes, to be completely honest. I mean, that's just really, you're talking about trying to cut down on time, cut down on you're increasing your odds. Sometimes even too, image consultants can like match like you with people as well, help increase your date. They'll help you like with your taking pictures on like dating profiles and stuff like that. But that actually leads us into our one of our final tips. As in general, older adults could use matchmakers. That's certainly probably a good thing for an older adult to consider, because matchmakers can really help you save the time by doing the legwork of like finding potential dates. And if you're older, it's kind of hard to set up all these dating profiles and all that other stuff, but matchmakers would actually do that for you. And there are some that will in particular, you know, work with older people. So that's certainly something to consider.
Right. They got those dating websites too for older people. I forgot what it's called, Golden something, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. But there are dating websites for older people as well. So I don't know what it looks like or what the prospects are out there.
Yeah.
You can try it. Good luck.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
And like the woman that was talking about like the arranged marriages, of course, that's like something where, you know, that we're nowhere near at that time. But there are like matchmakers in particular that would set you up with people who are compatible in terms of your age, your interests, your lifestyle, and stuff like that. And y'all, you know, increase your chances of really finding somebody compatible. So that's kind of like, you know, eventually we're going to move into stuff like that, which I like about that. But, you know, we ain't there yet, but wait on and pray on it with us. But yeah, matchmakers can really provide support and guidance as, you know, a way to really help you navigate the dating world. They can, like we said, help you fill out your dating profiles, you know, matching you with people. Some really screen you. That's what you really genuinely want. Some people to screen the people for you, so you're not like meeting some creep. Like they've already gone through all that and did all that for you. And that's, again, super helpful as an older adult, because to be honest, you got to have your defenses and your guards up even a little bit more, because you're older and you're, you know, you ain't got no time to be playing no games with these young people, and they get, you know, like it's just real. You don't. So it's always, again, these are great just tips that you can really take to really help benefit you overall in this, navigating this new, you know, dating scene you're in. Yep.
And then also too, aside from dating websites and matchmakers, you can also get involved in activities and groups.
Yeah.
So this is a great way to meet new people who share your interests.
Yeah.
You can meet up groups are a great way to meet people and share your interests as well. Volunteering. Did you want to say something? No. Volunteering is also a great way to meet people and make a difference in your community. You know, churches, food shelters, definitely. Things like that as well.
Animal shelters. Yeah. Even if you like working with kids, like the rec centers and stuff like that, you might meet you I don't know, somebody young coming up through there. You never know. You meet at the rec center. Yeah. I used to go to the rec center.
But women, be wary of young guys, to be honest with you.
Yes, truly, genuine.
You know, you might think that you know, young again, messing with these young guys, but often at times these younger men are can be very misleading.
Yeah.
as to what they want from you, and a lot of times it is money. Um,
Yeah.
but you know, a lot of times also too, they make if they've expressed to you that they have not a lot of luck with relationship, and they're saying that they're looking for somebody who knows what they want or something like that, then they may be kind of serious about relationship. You would just have to see
And vet. Like, I mean, had that therapist that you
talk to their
talking to.
parents,
Yes.
talk to
Like,
their parents,
yeah, like really,
um,
really, yeah.
right, talk to your therapist,
Get a prenup, like do
right,
those things to protect yourself, especially if you are an older woman who has attained a good amount of money for yourself, and you are willing to go ahead and what they call the hypogamous when you're an older woman who dates younger. Maybe that is your thing. We're not gonna, some people like, some women want to. If that is, really take the time to do those things that are gonna protect yourself. Genuinely, just
right.
like an older male. Like, we talk about the older men, they, do
And
their thing.
ask those hard
Yeah,
questions.
certainly, and have
You know,
people that are gonna help you.
don't be naive in this. Don't ask. You know,
Right.
you're just enjoying it. You know, he's here with me.
Right.
No, he's here with you for a reason. Often at times, you may want to find out why.
Yeah.
You know, he may have 3 children, 3 baby mamas, and he's really looking for
Right.
a home to stay at and food to eat.
Right.
And you're providing all of that for him. So you've basically inherited a
son. What it
that
kind
you have a
of
relationship with.
a husband, son.
Yeah. So, and if you fine with that, then so be it. You done found your spouse.
But just make sure you establish it so that you can take care of yourself through retirement. Don't make sure you can afford to take on a husband's son.
He needs to be working, and make sure that he's working instead of laying up with you all night.
That
all
is
day.
certainly discouraged. But for those women that can afford that, again, like we said, But of course, another one, as always, it's always a nice thing to make an effort to smile and be friendly when you meet new people. So in particular, older people, if you're more out and about, that's an easy way for you to connect with people by just simply smiling. You never know who may smile back, or just go through Lowe's smiling at all the older men with shovels in their hand that don't got a ring on their finger. Little
Lowe's,
things.
Home Depot.
Right. Do things like that, because you never know who you may meet. It's always a great way to start off a relationship by a simple smile, that acknowledgement. People are drawn to people who are positive and show that positivity in their demeanor, truly. Also to ask questions. So as you, another thing, another thing is you go through and you meet these people, don't be intimidated to
and
then
don't
ask
be naive.
Those questions. Yeah.
Don't be jaded by their looks and attractiveness. And like, oh my goodness, this boy is 30 years younger than me and wants to marry me.
Yeah,
ask those hard questions. Do they want children? What are you doing? Like, why are you here? Like, do you need money?
Yeah, that really matters. Yeah. And also be patient. Of course, it may take time to find that right person, but in particular, as long as you are doing those things that we have gone over to really help you feel good about yourself, mind, body, and spirit, prepare yourself, put you in a good position to be a great catch in the dating field. Don't get discouraged if it doesn't happen right away, right? Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for you to really get into alignment with the thing that you want. And in particular, I think God always shows how much you really want something by your determination to stick to it and see things through. And in particular, with all the things that we've talked about, you should want to do these things anyway. If not anything, at least you've gotten better for yourself. You feel good about yourself and you're living a good life for yourself,
Right. Yeah. If you've done all of that stuff and you're sticking to it.
Yep.
So, you have fun dating, have fun dating and enjoy the dates that you're going on, and make the time worth it,
Right.
So make it worthwhile to you and to the other person, and good luck.
Yeah.
Pretty much, because, it's tough out there now in these times. So, and everybody needs somebody. It's hard being alone. And we talked about that in those previous videos.
Yeah.
But that's the reality of the situation. So, with all that being said, we did drop a lot of jewels on you all tonight. That's what we're about. This is our service to the community, to the world, to provide this dialogue. So, a good poll question would be, is it possible for older people to find love, or or
I think,
is
of
it?
course, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, like the statistics show that is one person in America for another person. It's
Yeah.
exactly 50-50.
Yeah.
There's a man and woman out there for everybody. So
Yep, but just like we were saying, be open to what that
look
looks
like, because the
Really
person that
be
you
open to
want
it.
may not be the person that is there for you to get. So you have to
Or the
be
best for you, right? Like, or even the
right. The
best for
person
you
that
at
you
that
may
time.
not
Yeah.
think that's in your head that is the best for you,
Mhm.
may look totally different. So you
Mhm.
have to be open-minded about that, and you have to understand, like, look, I mean, your your probability is low. So
Lower,
you need
yeah.
to take advantage of what you can get. It
And
just is what it is.
and doing those things that are going to increase your
Probability.
probabilities, like we talked about. So making sure you have that team set up around you in particular that's going to support you. Have your therapist to help you work through your things. Have your image consultant. Have your fitness trainer, your nutritionist. Have those things. Do that work for yourself. Get involved in those community events. It's going to help you feel good and connect. Festivals, things that's going around. And again, like we said, smile. That is most important. It don't matter what age you are. The most beautiful thing I think on anybody is a smile. So if you can really always just take that and do that, it's attractive.
Yeah. So that's all we got for you. Anybody got any questions? That was a lot.
Yeah.
If you all got any questions, please
Yep.
ask those.
Yeah,
Forever,
great question.
ask now, forever hold your peace.
Right, and great question that we had from Instagram. So, of course, yep, Instagram followers, viewers, thank you for tuning in.
Yep. And at any time, you can chime in, ask questions, even on our live shows.
Yep.
You can pop up and do a video show or either call us. We take them all. So
yeah.
Please like, share, and subscribe these videos as well to anybody who may needs to hear these.
Yeah.
This is a hot topic, especially for people who are wanting to get back in the dating field and want to know if there's a husband or a wife out there for me today.
Yep, run this back because we ran all through it for
sure.
Sure.
And if you want to remain anonymous, you can also submit a question at www.wifeconomics.com/submit a question.
Yep.
Check the website out, especially for the young women.
Yeah.
If you're trying to learn those wife skills, please.
And we have big goals, big dreams.
Yeah.
The incitement,
go ahead and purchase the wife course.
Yes. And implementation program is really, it's expanding beyond what I could have ever thought. And I always said when we did this, I said, God, don't limit this to my imagination. Take and have your way with this. And I really do see this as going to be a beautiful portal that's going to arrange a lot of families, a lot of marriages, and really help build stronger communities and families, because that's really what we need as a whole and as a society. So I'm excited for it. Truly.
Yeah. So until next time, Blueprint family, you all have a good night and peace.